Greetings, everyone. This is IP with another video. I hope you enjoyed the last video about Marvel vs. DC. You know, and just to be a little bit more transparent, I like DC better. But I tried to be more objective, and I listened to the video. It seemed like I was being subjective. Wasn't my intention, but it is what it is. I guess you can't really, hide. The veil was taken off throughout the video, but I like Marvel too, but I prefer DC over Marvel, but I did my best to explain the differences. So if someone were to look at my video and see which one they wanted to pick up, they would know based on the information which one they would be looking for. So hopefully that was helpful for anybody who stumbled across it and wanted to know which one they wanted to pick up. But moving on, with this particular video, I wanted to talk about a film that's not in the superhero genre, but it's one of my top films. And this is the I don't want to give the order of my top films because I want to save it. I want to do videos on these individually, so I wouldn't want to just throw too much out there and not have any anticipation leading up to the other videos. So I'll put one. I'll say this is definitely in my top 5. I would say that. I'm not going to say exactly which number it lands on, but let's just say that Matrix trilogy is in that top 5 as well, and Total Recall is another film that's in there. Just to let you know where my mind at when I say my top films. Matrix trilogy, the whole trilogy, not just one movie, the whole trilogy. And this is another film that's in the top 5. Total Recall reboot, released in 2012. Let me just say that I know some people are fans of Arnold Schwarzenegger's version. I never watched that completely. I mean, I did watch it, but it didn't resonate with me. I didn't really care too much about it growing up. But I know that there are a lot of fans for that particular film, and it is what it is. I mean, it's just something that I never really was entertained by growing up. Arnold Schwarzenegger films were never really like my top films, except for Terminator. And it wasn't really because of, it was because of him, because he did a really good portrayal of Terminator, but I really love it, based on the idea of destiny, fate is what we make it. Some of the themes in that whole franchise is, really, it's really good stuff. I really enjoy it. But with Total Recall, the reboot, one thing is really good to know, because when you say reboot, people automatically think cash grab, and it might have been. Who knows? I don't know the intentions on the people, the studio making this. What movie isn't a cash grab if you really think about it? That it's meant to entertain you and make money. If it don't make money, you're not going to get a sequel. It's like that's just the way it works. I mean, I don't know why we're so naive in thinking that films are just these art pieces that's thrown together just for the hand claps, or just to be thought to invoke thought. I would like for it to be, but it's just not the reality of it. It's a business at the end of the day. Now that we know that, let's just take the film for what it is. Now, when I looked at Total Recall, the first time I seen the trailer, basically I wasn't stunned by it. I was like, okay, I didn't really care too much about the original film. I don't really care about this one. But sorry about that. Certain things in the background got distracted. Yeah, like I didn't really care too much about the original film. So when this trailer was shown for this particular film, I didn't really care about it. So um, I didn't really have high expectations for this. But when I stumbled across an article where the screenwriter, or the person who actually wrote the story for the original film, spoke about his idea, in that this movie is more accurate to what his original idea was supposed to be based upon, but due to the time frame in which it came out, he was limited to the resources he can use to showcase his thoughts. Like, because for one, once I did research on the old one without looking at the entire film, it was, because the movie took place in Mars, and he said that was never really his intent. He did that because it was easier to shoot a film that took place on another planet with the practical effects. CGI wasn't a big thing during that time. This is pre-2000-ish type of films, okay? So that's why he made, that film take place in Mars. It wasn't because it was, his, it wasn't like the film of his heart being showcased to, the audience at that time. It was just what you had to accept, and people accepted it, but it wasn't the author's intent. You get what I'm saying? So that's another thing. People complain about cash grabs and things of that nature. The intent may have been a cash grab, but the actual the final cut, or the final product, is not determined by that all the time. Sometimes, some of the best films come out of, some of the most weird scenarios. Like Spawn is another example. When I actually saw, Michael J. White interview, he said he regret the final cut because people were so concerned about CGI and having this wow factor, they forgot about the focal point of the story, but yet we enjoyed it. And that's the same thing with this film, Total Recall, 2012. This is a film that resonated with me because, like, it took place on Earth, futuristic, in a dystopian future where the lower class citizens lived at, the outskirts of the planet, if you want to say, because the rich lived in New England, and there was only one other section, which is, you can possibly, related to like the projects or something like that. It was called the colony, and everybody who couldn't afford to live in the New England area lived in the colony. Now, it was separated by this machine called the Fall, which was a way for people to actually travel through the Earth's core all the way to New England. So, from the colony to New England. So, and the only reason why they traveled there was to work in industrial places where they made robots. For what reason? The people without knowledge, the people who weren't in the elite, didn't know, but the elite knew what they were created for. The reason why the machines were being created was to replace the workers that were creating them. They wanted to make the robots into the civilians. They wanted to make the robots the slaves. They wanted to make the robots the protectors. And then they wanted to wipe out the entire colony. So only the elite, who they felt were capable of handling the resources, sound familiar if you really think about it, to what we deal with in the world today. And that's why I loved it. It registered to me in a time where I was heavy into book reading, heavy into trying to understand the rich and the poor, trying to understand, being content with who I am as a person, being content with, limited resources, but, having higher understanding of things. So that's what this film represents to me. Now I can go into detail about the action, the which was amazing, the acting, which was good enough, storyline, which was direct, but it was stilly. Stilly. Sorry, it was really um, a good film. It was the story was straightforward, but it really, due to it being in the future, it really did enough for me to feel as if I was being taken on a ride. Like it had everything and it accomplished everything within a short time frame as well. Like they didn't dig too deep into the character's background, but what the main character experienced in this film, they did it in a condensed way where I was able to figure out everything about this character in a short period of time, and it was so thick, but yet they cut it and trimmed it down, just in time for you to enjoy the action and everything. But in that split second, I was able to register with the humanness of the film before they got into the explosions and all that type of things. And so that's it. That's my top movie. That's one of my top movies. I recommend anybody to watch this film, and just you won't be bored with it, first of all. And once you get past all of the adrenaline rush type scenes, you'll learn to appreciate what they were trying to convey with this film. So that's it. Total Recall. Check it out. Have a good one.